Hey, Kyle here with winthehouseyoulove.com. California has a new 20% down payment assistance program that is fantastic. I'm going to show you everything you need to know in this video to see if it's a loan that you qualify for, if it's one that you want to get. And I also have a free calculator that you can use that does all of the math for you that I'm going to give you as well. So first, a quick overview. So it's 20% down payment assistance, or it can cover the closing costs or a mixture of both. One downside for a lot of people in the US is it's California only. And one big downside is that it shares appreciation when you choose to sell the home or refinance the home. And I'll explain that more in depth. So here's why this matters, why this is such an important program for people who are in California. It's that home equity has proven to be one of the strongest ways for families to build and pass on intergenerational wealth. And this is a program that can really help people who are renting right now get access to be able to purchase in California when the market has been exploding. It's difficult for a lot of people to buy in California as home prices increase. It's almost impossible to save for a down payment with the rate of appreciation, and this program can help with that. Now, one quick word of advice. This program is going to run out extremely quickly. They have set aside $300 million for this program, which is going to help around 2,300 families. This is going to go very quick. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into the calculator to learn more. I have a link in the description. It's also winthehouseyoulove.com/dream to be able to use this. So when we're using this calculator, we need to first put in 3 bits of information. First, are you a first-time home buyer? Okay, you may be applying on the loan by yourself or with somebody else. Everybody on the loan needs to be a first-time home buyer. That means someone who has not been on the title to a home in the past 3 years. And that's what's going to classify you as a first-time home buyer. Okay. So you have to be a first-time home buyer. Also, you're going to put in your annual income. This is going to be for the total household income pre-tax of everybody on the loan. You're also going to put in your county here. Again, this is only California. So we're just going to use this as our general example first. There's 2 big qualifications for being able to get this program. The first is that you are a first-time home buyer, and second is being under the income limit. Okay, so for instance, if I come over here and say I'm not a first-time home buyer, we would not qualify for this program. All right, so same thing. If my annual income is, I'm just using a crazy example, $900,000, it's over the income limit that Cal HFA sets aside of $282,000. All right, let's go back to 90 here. So in Alameda County, there's an income limit of $282,000, and we're a home buyer. We're underneath the income limit, so we're good to go. Now what we want to do is explore some of the details of our new loan. So this is for a 30-year fixed rate loan. And what we'll do is put in our purchase price. I know homes in California can obviously go higher than $500,000. Let's run an example at $800,000. Okay. And of course, our income probably needs to be higher than this for somebody who can afford that. So let's say our income is, let's say we have a household income of $240,000 here. Okay. So now what we'll do is we can adjust our interest rate if we want. Then what it will do is show us our loan amount. Right, so this is 80% of our purchase price because the Dream for All program is offering 20% in here. We can see in Alameda County, there's a maximum loan limit of $1 million. So this is going to show us our principal and interest payment here, just above $4,100 for an $800,000 purchase price, 20% down, 6.5% interest rate. Now, keep in mind, you still do have to pay taxes and homeowners insurance. And if you have less than 20% down, you will have mortgage insurance. This is just principal and interest. Okay, so the Dream for All program will offer you 20% assistance, and this can cover your down payment and or closing costs. So in this calculator, what you can do is actually move this around to see how much you want it to cover on each side. So for instance, you could use it to cover all of your down payment, so 20% down, but it won't cover closing costs. That means it will cover your down payment, but you likely will still have to bring money to the closing table to cover your closing costs. Okay, these are going to be things like a title search, an appraisal, taxes, homeowners insurance, recording fees that will all be included here. Now, you can also get credits from the seller to help pay your closing costs if you want. So let's say we're going to do 18% down payment and the other 2% is going to go towards our closing costs. Okay, now What we need to also do is take a look at how appreciation is going to impact us inside of this program, because the Cal HFA Dream for All program centers around home appreciation. They created this program because they believe the value of your home is going to go up over time. And then what they're going to do is take a portion of the appreciation in return for giving you the money up front to buy the house. Okay. So what this is illustrating here is your theoretical home value in the future, forecasted home value, and your mortgage balance. So if we were going to look at, let's say, 5 years in the future with, let's say, closer to a 4% historic average appreciation rate, we'll put you that home value being around $973,000 in 5 years. Okay, so now Cal HFA will actually take 20% of the appreciation when you choose to sell or refinance in the future. Again, you can hold on to this loan for 30 years if you want to, right? You do not have to pay this money back until you sell or refinance. Let's just use 5 years in the home as an example before we sell. Now, one thing interesting about this 20% appreciation that they take is that if your income is actually less than 80% of the area median income, it will take 15% of the appreciation. And the calculator is going to do all this for you on the back. If we, this income wouldn't qualify for the loan, but if I put in 30,000, that's less than 80% of the area median income. It's going to automatically calculate 15 for you. Okay, let's just run back to our example and scroll back down. So when you choose to sell or refinance, Cal HFA is going to take 20% of that appreciation. So what's happening is you didn't have to pay basically any interest on this loan. What you're paying is a percentage of the appreciation of the property. Okay, so for instance, in this example, our future home value is $973,000. We purchased it for $800,000. That means the home went up. It appreciated $173,000 over 5 years. Now, Cal HFA is going to take 20% of that, which would be just around $34,000, and your appreciation would be $138,000. So this is a really great program. They're giving you the money up front to put 20% down, or 20% total assistance. You can use some of it for closing costs. You're getting this appreciation, and they only take 20% here. Okay. Now there is a maximum cap that they have. Again, the calculator automatically does this for you. We don't have to go into that, and it will give you a little warning if that happens. And that kind of looks like this. Let me just make a crazy high appreciation. You can see the shared appreciation portion is capped at 2.5 times the original assistance amount, and it automatically does that here for you. Okay. Now that appreciation there is not realistic, so I'll bring this right down. Okay. Now, when you go to sell, you also want to see, how much money would you get as a check at closing? In this scenario, we would likely profit just above $106,000 when we choose to sell. So whenever we choose to sell the home, we need to pay back two things to Cal HFA, right? They didn't just give us 20% of the home purchase price for free, and then, we never have to pay it back. We have to pay back the original assistance amount. In this instance, it was $160,000, right? If we scroll back up here and see the assistance breakdown, we got $160,000 from Cal HFA, $144,000 went to the down payment, $16,000 went to closing costs. Okay, so when we choose to sell or refinance, we need to pay back this amount. Now, we also need to pay the 20% of our home's appreciation, which would be just shy of $35,000. Okay, so when we sell, we also need to pay off our mortgage balance, and we'll likely incur fees like working with a real estate agent. We also might have title fees or taxes and things like that. So we're going to use 6% as a rule of thumb, 6% of the purchase price as our cost to sell the home. Again, we can adjust how many years in the future to look at different examples of how much we would or wouldn't pay. Okay, so let's still stick to 5 years. So what this here is an illustration of what's called a net sheet. So when you go to sell a home, you're going to be getting a net sheet likely from your real estate agent that will just break down, what you're selling the home for, and then all the costs that you're going to incur to sell, leaving you with the bottom line number, which is the check that you would get at the closing table for selling your home. So for instance, in 5 years, if we sold our home for $973,000, we also still have to pay off our mortgage balance, right? It went from, if we scroll up here, $656,000 as our initial loan down to $614,000 over 5 years, right? Because we've been paying on our mortgage and the principal balance has decreased. We also have to pay back the initial amount that we got from Cal HFA. That would be $160,000. We also have to pay our appreciation share of 20% in this instance of just shy of $35,000. Also, we have that 6% cost to sell, which is going to put us around $58,000, leaving us with a check at closing for $106,000, okay, assuming we have a 4% appreciation rate. And if you want to, you can go through the income limits by county. I have all the AMI, area median income limits, down here, along with the Cal HFA loan limits too. So go ahead and use that calculator, explore your own numbers, plug those in to see how this program would work for you. Now, some other general requirements is this does have to be a primary residence. There's a couple things with this. It means that you have to intend to live in there for the majority of the year. So everybody on the loan must live in the home and be a first-time home buyer to qualify for this loan. Also, it's only available for single-family one-unit homes. Condos and manufactured homes are allowed. Now, with the underlying loan to this is a conventional loan. So you still have to qualify with very standard conventional loan requirements. But there's also a couple overlays on this as well, right? Normally, a conventional loan has a minimum credit score of 620. For this program, it's actually a minimum of 680, and that's going to bring your maximum debt to income ratio to 45%. Meaning that you take your gross monthly income for everybody on the loan times 0.45, and that's the maximum amount of debt that you can have. So from there, you subtract your minimum monthly debt payments, and that's what's left to be able to qualify you for the mortgage. I know that can be a little complex, and that's exactly what we do to help you out. We do free pre-approval consultation calls. You can go to winthehouseyoulove.com and to schedule that, and we can help you through all of the math there. Okay. Now, if you have a 700 score, that is going to increase the debt to income ratio maximum to 50%. All this means is that if you have a 700, you'll be able to qualify for more of a house than if you have a 680, which is the minimum. One of the big benefits of this program is it allows you to do 20% down. When you do 20% down on a conventional loan like this, you do not have any monthly mortgage insurance, which can help save you probably a few $100s per month on your monthly mortgage payment. Some other general requirements here is you do have to take 2 homebuyer education classes. So there's one that you have to take online, and the other one has to either be in person or they have a virtual class as well, and it runs about 8 hours total. Okay, this loan is not assumable. It means you can't just have somebody, if you go to sell the home, they can't take over your loan. Unfortunately, that's the way it is with most conventional loans. Also, this is going to follow conventional loan limits, and those are all built into the calculator as well. Okay. Now, please keep in mind, you do have to pay back the assistance here. This is not free money. So you have to pay back the assistance plus the appreciation share when any of these things occur. One is the transfer of the title to somebody else. If you sell the property, if you pay off the first loan, if you pay off the subordinate loan, which is the down payment assistance you got in the first place, when you choose to refinance, this is a big one that I'll talk about here in a second. And then, of course, if you default, you would owe that money back. So here's some big concerns that I have with this program. Number one is that this program is going to go quickly. This is a really great program compared to a lot of down payment assistance. And I think a lot of people are going to want to take advantage of this as quickly as possible in a really competitive California market. Also, this may make prices increase and add more competition to certain price brackets. The California market in different pockets is already extremely competitive, and it's very likely this is going to add more demand and honestly probably increase or add some pressure to home prices in a lot of cities in California. Another thing that could be an issue here is if you are going to make big improvements, big like repair improvements that are going to increase the value of the home, keep in mind that the Dream for All program is going to take a portion of that appreciation as well, right? So if you buy the home and let's say you put in $100,000 rehab, and let's say that $100,000 rehab, let's say it's a 1-for-1 rehab to appreciation. Maybe it increases the value of your home by $100,000 when you go to sell. Well, you put $100,000 in, and Cal HFA is going to take 15 to 20% of that amount as well. So just be mindful of, if you're doing repairs that are going to add a lot of value to the home, that the Dream for All program will share in that appreciation with you if you choose to sell or refinance. So ultimately, should you use it? Really, I think this is great for people wanting to get into the California market, but didn't really have a chance until now. Again, this is, the California market is so competitive. And I know a lot of people are kind of in that spot where they're like, there's no way I'll ever be able to even save enough to purchase a home here in California. This is a really great way to get into real estate in California and to begin taking the advantage of super high appreciation that the California market may have in the future. I don't think California markets, these like really competitive cities, are going to have the insane appreciation that we saw over the past couple of years. The historic average over a long period of time is 4% year over year. I think that's a better rule of thumb to plan for, as opposed to the 15 to 30% that we saw over the past couple of years. What I would do if I was buying in California, I'm on the entire opposite side of the US, but if I was buying, I personally would take advantage of this program, and then I would use the money that I would have paid for my down payment, and I would choose to put that into an investment or to pay off debt. I think that that's going to be a much better plan for people. That way, you can start putting money into an emergency fund. You can put it into index funds to help you start growing maybe some retirement accounts, or paying off some high interest debt like credit cards, or maybe even student loans. So this is a program that we offer. So I'm a loan officer in all 50 states. I have a team that works in all 50 states as well. And if you go to winthehouseyoulove.com, you'll get access to all of our calendars. You can book a time that works for you, and we can do a pre-approval consult. It only takes around 15 to 30 minutes. We just want to know more about your scenario and how we can help. If this is a program that you want to run numbers on or get approved for, we can help you with that. Or if there's another program that you're looking at, we'd love to help you with that as well. Okay, if you want to learn more about the underlying loan of the Dream for All program, it's a conventional loan, and you want to learn more about the conventional loan requirements, right over here.